You're listening to the What's the Fuzz podcast, where we break you out of your vacuum seal and get down to what's real. Never miss another episode again. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. And now, your host, Reiner.
Hey there, Fuzz Tots. Welcome to What's the Fuzz? If this is your first time tuning in, hey, I'm Reiner, a big blue dragon wolf kind of thing. Thanks for stopping by. If this isn't your first time, hey, nice to see you again. It's September 13th, and today I've brought on Redbone.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, we're going to be talking about why a certain orange Cheeto sucks.
Yep.
And what it's like to face discrimination as a Latino.
Oh, yeah.
Now, yeah, exactly. Now, Redbone's a good friend of mine. I have a lot of respect for him. He's young, he's ballsy, and he's not afraid to speak his mind, unlike someone I know. You can catch him over on Twitter at K Jimenez? 1997. Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure I didn't fuck that up.
No, you're good. Like I said, yeah, it's not like you were one of my substitute teachers back in like high school.
I really didn't want to have you go through that PTSD again.
No, it's all good.
But yeah, thanks so much for coming on the show, buddy. Now, I like to ask an icebreaker question, but specifically for you, I already knew what I wanted to ask.
Okay.
How did you come up with the name for your persona?
Oh, boy.
I know why.
Oh,
I want my listeners to know why.
Funny story. So, let us go back to when I first joined the fandom. So, I first joined the fandom around 2012. And at that time, I was, just a curious preteen on the internet going like, what's going on in the world out there. Sure enough, I was like, let's search up wolves or whatever. Search that up, and of course there's a bunch of stuff on there, and then I come across E621. So from there my journey begins, and I've been role playing, and I just used like various like wolf characters at first, and then I was like, maybe I should make my own character, because I've drawn. I know how to draw. I've drawn a lot before. So one day I just sat and used my phone. I used this program. I don't know if you heard this program before, but it's called PixArt. And basically on that program, it's like, besides editing pictures, you can basically go on a setting where you can draw some stuff on it. So I used that setting, and I just drew like a headshot of my Sona, which originally his name was not Redbone. His name was just Red. So a couple years into it, I got a little bit of fan art with him. And of course, my first commission was a friend of mine commissioned a friend of his he knew and gave it to me as a gift. But of course, my first commission was not safe for work. So,
of course, typical furry.
Typical furry. Yes, I'm furry trash. So, I can't remember this person's name. I was friends with him too, but I have no idea what he's doing now or what happened. But so one day we were talking, and he was like looking at all my commissions that I got, which is only like 3 at the time. And he immediately looked at my first not safe for work commission, and he was like, "Oh, look, it's Red with his bone out." And then he says, "I'm going to call him Redbone." And then I just sat there like, what?
You say that now, and then you went with it.
Yeah, I laughed, and I'm like, wait, no, this can't be, no. And then we were going back and forth about it. Then I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to use it. So, and from there, oh man, you know, maybe only like a few people, including you so far, have kind of figured out it's like a dirty kind of background to it.
Wow.
But
Poisoning innocent minds.
yeah, and it's like most of the other people that I've interacted with, if I join a chat, they'll be like, "Oh, hi, Redbone. You remind me of Childish Gambino's song," or
Oh my god.
yeah, or like, "Oh, Redbone, that '70s band, nice." I've gotten jokes like that a lot.
Wow. Is it bad that when I saw your name, I like immediately thought it's it's what it turned out to be? I
No,
didn't say anything.
I just was like, you know what? I'm glad you figured it out in like 20 seconds. It's like, yeah,
I
it's.
don't I don't know if that's something to be glad about, honestly.
You would only hope that some minors wouldn't figure that shit out because it's like, oh no, they shouldn't know what that means. I hope to God they don't
Oh
know what that
no.
means. So,
You got little kiddly winks tugging on your fucking tail, asking to
yeah,
see your fucking red bone, brother. Nah, dude.
yeah, no, I would be like freaking out if some little kid came and be like, "Hey, are you named after a penis?"
Oh my
I'm like,
god.
what? What?
Oh
Oh
no.
no!
Oh shit, dude.
God damn.
Awesome. Well, now we can get into less concerning shit.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that story, though.
yeah,
That's fucking
that was
cool.
a fun story to share.
So, since we're already talking about your Sona, how do you feel he represents you? He's like a brown, scraggly wolf with like a scar on his eye.
Yeah, so the thing about with Redbone, he does represent me, but like not completely fully because I would say one of the things that I can compare it with him most is, and this ties into like with how with stereotypes, like how some people in the horror side of the community be like, oh my god, werewolves, they're all scary and big and they want to kill people,
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
and like
Please kill me.
it's no. um Maybe Halloween. No, but anyway, um
Oh, as you're saying.
as I was saying, yeah, so like yeah, like I kind of, I have stories about like, being stereotyped and stuff for being Latino, but it's like I tied it in with that because it's like not all werewolves are scary. They may look scary, but it's like they could be a big puppy dog and, they could be really friendly. Like that's what I made Redbone to be. Like knowing myself, I'm not like I'm not a fighter. I don't like to pick fights with anybody. Well, I'm not like with the stereotype thing. I don't like all the Mexican food or whatever type stuff. Like it's that kind of thing. Like people shouldn't assume that one thing likes everything in like a culture setting or whatever, because that's not what you want to do. It comes out as offensive. So yeah, I just that's one of the things that I did with Redbone is like he's not really a scary werewolf. He's not going to kill you. The only
Hmm.
time he will is if you like threaten his friends or something or threaten his life. He'll do something, but he won't instantly kill you just to kill you for sport.
So like he's got the personality of like a golden retriever, but he's outwardly looking like the beast from fucking Beauty and the Beast.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Got you. Damn, that's actually kind of deep. I didn't think about it like that. Shit. I thought you
Yeah.
were just gonna be like wolves are hot, and I think
I
I want to be a
mean,
hot wolf.
I mean, you're not wrong. I do love werewolves too a lot, and I think they're hot. But it's like, that's not the main focus, obviously. So, um,
I feel you there, honestly.
yeah, and how I mentioned with the anger part of it,
Mm-hmm.
it does tie in with me a little bit too because it's like knowing myself, being angry. it could be considered a weakness or a good thing, but there have been times where I've let something get the best of me, and I would black out. And the next thing I know is that I really don't honestly remember what I did.
Whoa. Holy
Yeah,
shit, you like literally just like rage out, you like tap out.
yeah, it's happened before.
So he's like a very personal character to you.
Oh, for sure.
Soft boy werewolf vibes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He, in reality, he really is a big pup. He'll give you hugs and snugs. So,
So you've been like furry adjacent for like a while.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
up
and then you
until
turn into a full furry.
yeah, a legitimately full furry. Original.
Do you feel like it's like a big part of who you are now, all things considered?
Um, in a way, yeah, but I don't let the furry aspect like fully control my life. Like I've seen furries like be all like, "Ooh, it's all about the fantasy. I got to worry about the being a furry and not worry about the real world and what's going on." Like I still worry about the real world. Like I love being a furry, but that doesn't mean, oh, I'm gonna forget that I'm Latino and forget that I deal with racist people and this, that, and the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't just like put on a head and suddenly you're turned into like a real werewolf. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like you can't like you can have fun in the hobby, but you can't also have that mindset where you're like, oh, I'm just gonna forget who I am and forget what my friends deal with, or forget the world, or forget what's going on, or forget my family. Like that's not how it works.
So, how would you describe your sexuality and or gender identity?
So my sexuality, I am pansexual.
Mhm.
Um, for me, before I, when I was like about maybe 14, 15, I thought I was bi. But up until, I want to say 3 years ago, I discovered that I was more pansexual because I am attracted to, not only men and women, but I'm attracted to trans men and women. So it's like when you're pansexual, you're not just attracted to men and women. You are also attracted to trans, people. You know,
Mhm.
it's more of a wide variety, and you know, being a male with that, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Um, there are days where I also feel like I'm femme because I want to try like girl clothes on and stuff. And I remember when I was like very little, I remember a time where I was wearing my mom's shoes and my grandma's shoes around the house and putting lipstick on. So,
I
um,
see.
yeah, so I think I might be more than just male, I guess, too, but I'd have to see because I know when you're exploring yourself as a person, sexuality wise, it's like sometimes you can go back and forth, like, oh, if I feel like I like men more, then I guess I'm gay, or if I like women more than men, but it's still like men, then I guess I'm bi or whatever. But I know I'm pansexual, so I'm not afraid to try something new. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's all on that self-discovery course, right? It just like never ends.
Right,
You might
exactly.
find that you really like dressing up and presenting as a female, but you still want to keep your male pronouns or your male gender identity. There's a lot of interchangeable parts in there. It doesn't end with just one or two labels.
Right, exactly.
Were there any specific hurdles that you had to overcome when you discovered that you were like pan?
So around middle school, I was, finding out about more of my sexuality and stuff. And, you know, for some people, they like to stay in the closet for a very long time, and that's not a problem because they're just afraid, oh, my parents are not going to accept me for who I am or love me anymore, and whatever. And it has happened to some people in this community, unfortunately. That sucks, but you know, it's like at least they have a little group of friends or whoever that they do love them for who they are. But it's like for
Right.
me, I've always been kind of afraid back in the day because right up until I would say when Obama was president, the second term he had in 2014 or 15, he had all 50 states, legalize gay marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And, before that happened, still I was, we all were dealing with times where we were discriminated against harshly. Like, it didn't matter if you're gay, lesbian, trans, whoever. Like, way back in the 80s when the AIDS epidemic happened, you got some of these straight people and Republican conservative people wishing them to die and all this other stuff and blaming the AIDS epidemic on us. It was a whole mess. And around my time too, when I was a kid, unfortunately, going to school, I've had to hear many kids call if they find somebody was gay or something, they would be on their ass nonstop and go out of their way to like humiliate them. It was so bad.
And this is like middle school?
Yeah, like it would
Yep.
happen. And it would happen like no matter what. Like even if even if you were like disabled, I'm autistic,
Mm-hmm.
and there were kids that like to make fun of people that were that had a disability, and it was that fucked up. I never wanted to tell anybody about my sexuality in middle school because even my own friends or my family, because I was afraid, and it took me up until high school that I told maybe a couple of my friends that I was trans, and I did tell my mom and dad, and of course, they loved me, and they've always loved me and supported me, and they said, no matter what, I love you. They told me that, and that made me feel better.
Aw.
So I wasn't afraid anymore. And you know, around 2 years ago, I made it more public. You know, saying, "Hey, I'm pansexual. I've been pansexual for quite a while, and I feel happy that I am the way I am. I'm not afraid." But it's also thanks to the furry fandom because it's like when I discovered the furry fandom, it taught me to be more open. It helped me be a lot more social, um, and just not afraid to be, you know, pansexual. You know, not be afraid to be you, not be afraid to be myself. So, yeah,
Damn. That turned out pretty good for you. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, and I'm really fortunate and really happy.
So, uh, a while ago, I caught this Twitter thread where you were recounting how that day where you were with, I think it was your father and your brother in the car and you got stopped by the police officer.
Oh God, yeah,
That
that
was like the
was.
moment that radicalized you?
Um, yeah, it really took a turn on how I saw the police because that wasn't the first time I've dealt with the police. The very first time, and I'm sure you saw the thread too, the
Mm,
first time this happened when I was 16. It was me and a couple of friends. We were at a McDonald's and we were
right.
just eating and being dumb and talking shit. And I'm going to say about 20 minutes or so. Um, cops show up, and they were interviewing people in the restaurant, and the next thing I know, we were all standing up, and unfortunately, this middle-aged white cop looked at a group of us Latinos,
Mm-hmm.
teenage Latinos, and assumed that we had to do with an incident that involved this old white lady that had her phone stolen in this McDonald's.
Okay.
So he was coming at us about this whole thing in a very rude way. And during that, there was another kid that came and defended us, and he was like, why don't you guys just look at the McDonald's cameras? There's evidence in there, I'm sure. And that cop told the kid to shut the fuck up. So um that was the end of that. And then I thought, okay, I need to say something because I don't want to be accused of stealing somebody's phone or my friends being accused because I think this is
Mm-hmm.
bullshit. So I told the cop, hey, listen, we had nothing to do with this. We were sitting here being just us crazy teenagers, talking dumb stuff.
Yeah.
And, I was just making it simple as I can. And of course, that cop also told me to shut the fuck up and that I was just being disrespectful. So deep down inside of me, I was not only pissed, but I wanted to cuss this cop out because he was really being racist. Like, he just was focusing on us Latino teenagers, like that we were the prime suspect.
Damn. If you really let go though, you would have had a broken collarbone for sure.
Yeah, I don't know what would have happened, but I remember crying and going home to my mom and
Oh.
dad telling them about it. And they were like, don't worry about it. But it's like, if you would have went off on the cop, you would have probably been put in, juvie or something. And we don't want that to happen. So, and then, of course, that incident you brought up, that happened in 2015 in the summertime. And we were taking a road trip. So the road trip was to go to Texas, but we wanted to stop by to see friends in Tennessee. So right as we enter Tennessee, we are followed by a cop and we get pulled over. And so basically what happened was the cop looked at my dad and looked at me and my brother, and he looked at my dad again and he goes, what are y'all doing here? And my dad explained, well, we're just on a family road trip. We're going to see friends in Tennessee and stuff. And this cop, again, this is a white cop too. And next thing we know, he pulls my dad out of the car. And we watch him walk away with this cop. And me and my brother looked at each other. And we were both instantly worried and scared. What is this cop doing to our dad?
Dude, holy shit.
Yeah, and I'm not even kidding. I'm going to say about a good 30 minutes or an hour pass.
Damn.
And he finally comes back. My dad comes back without the cop. And he sits down back in his car, closes the door, and we watch the cop drive away. So we both ask him, "Are you okay? What did this cop do?" And my dad told me and my brother, "I'm okay." Um, Basically, what I had to do was tell him that I work for security. He does work for security. He's a branch manager for a security company. And I guess when he told the cop that, the cop just let him go. So, but I felt during that whole incident, I felt that was so unnecessary for him to be pulled out of the car just for him to say, "Oh, I'm a security person now." And, we did nothing wrong. We weren't speeding or anything. We were going the way we needed to go. And it really, in the end, was just a racist incident. That was not fun.
Yeah, that does not sound fun at all, dude.
No.
Like, if your dad wasn't a security guy, what would have happened? Would he have came back?
I don't know, but I've already seen too many videos of instances of where minorities, whether it be Latino, Black, Asian,
Yep.
whatever, um, they would do nothing wrong, and unfortunately, they would get pulled out of their fucking car
Yeah.
and beat up for no reason. It just comes down to that their system as a whole is fucked. This is why we're protesting, is because that system that they're in needs to change. Because if they're all about protecting and serving people, they should do that more than just be like, "All right, well, I got my baton, I got my pepper spray, I got my taser, I got all these deadly weapons on me that I can use instead of escalating a situation."
Yep.
So it needs
And
to
they,
change.
on top of that, they train these cops to make it seem like everybody's out to kill them. Like, legit, to, like, hysteria levels of fucking paranoia and craziness to the point where they think that anything is a threat and they will die when that's not the case at all. They
Yeah,
don't
no.
see other people as people anymore. They see them as animals. Like, they
Yeah,
saw you and your dad and your brother, all of you guys were just like freaking animals to this white cop.
yeah. And I'm pretty sure what he assumed also was, "Oh, we're probably just illegal immigrants coming to America, smuggling in like cocaine or something." Like,
Totally trying to smuggle in the drugs and rape the women and everything else because people are just fucking born evil like that, right?
oh my god, yeah. And it really triggered me just now. This is one of the things that Mr. fucking Cheeto Head has said,
Mm-hmm.
that all of us Latinos are rapists, killers. Uh, what else did he say? Like, just anything horrible. He put us in a group that basically, in his eyes, we're just people that are crazy. That's how he saw us, is crazy people.
Mm-hmm.
And this was even before he became president. He said this during this campaign, and I'm still baffled that you got some of these Trump supporters that are like, "Oh, what do you mean Trump is a racist? Show me the proof."
Yeah,
And,
seriously.
and funny enough, I had to deal with somebody that was like this. I thought what was going to be a reasonable argument, it all turned out to be a bunch of bullshit because this person got offended that I said that Trump was racist, and I even showed him when he asked for proof. I showed him every single video of Trump saying something racist, supporting something racist,
Yep.
everything. It's all on live TV. And what's worse, Fox News fucking twists the story around and makes it seem that this motherfucker that's our fucking president turned out to be the glorious God of America when he's nothing but a pathetic piece of shit person who has been in bankrupt so many times.
Damn,
Doesn't
tell
give a
us how
shit.
you really feel, Red.
Yeah, like doesn't give a shit about anybody. He doesn't give a shit about his supporters. His supporters are fucking stupid, and
They are pretty
I'm
stupid, yeah.
I'm just like, how are you guys gonna listen to this man? He had over how many people died of the corona now? The
We're at
cases
200,000, I think.
200 fucking thousand people. He
We're heading for number one. We're gonna be number one.
Yeah, we're gonna be number one
Woo.
on the death toll of people
We're
dead.
trying our best. We ain't give a fuck about our school scores,
Oh
but we want to
yeah,
get that
yeah.
corona death rate.
All right, yeah. He really
Number
gives a
one.
shit. Like, oh my fucking god.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
I am the greatest president ever. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I look beautiful. I don't have to read a teleprompter. Oh, wait. Read that back. Let me read that back. Teleprompter. Yeah, no, he's a
Nice.
dumbass. He's a dumbass. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
wanted to do an impression of him. Sorry.
damn. You just got that all out there, man. You went full Cheeto mode. That was
Yeah,
kind of nice.
yeah, I went full cheesy Chester Cheeto
That was
on.
extra cheesy.
Extra cheesy, the X, triple X cheese. Yeah.
Hey, man. Yeah, I got a little distracted there. Okay. Yeah, going back to your situation that happened. So that was like the moment you realized that something has to be done.
Yeah, not only that, I did want to become a cop back when I was a kid, and up until that point,
Ah,
I changed my mind. I immediately changed my mind. You want to know what my goal was? I wanted to be one of those cops that changes the views of those cops. Like, I felt that if I became a cop, I would change the system myself. But unfortunately, you have those kind of cops too that have that mindset that they'll try to
yep.
fix it. And unfortunately, the cops within that system will be like, no, fuck you. We're just gonna frame you for being this person and that, or they'll probably die. They'll probably get killed. So I just said, fuck this. I'm not being a cop anymore. So
So about those protests, how do you feel the BLM protests relate to other POC like yourself? Do you feel like they empower people like you?
um yeah, they do empower me, but it's like I'm more focused on when it comes to Black Lives Matter because unfortunately still in the society, Black Lives Matter, like what the Black community has to face every day is still some of the same stuff that they had to deal with way, way, way back when they were taken from their land and put in plantations to work for the white man and whipped and all this other stuff. And what's crazier about this is that the police themselves used to be slave catchers.
Yep.
So that's also another thing that's still like a part of the police system because they are stuck in their ways of wanting to harm people in the worst way possible. And it is also to target minorities. So, um, but yeah, and it took me a bit to come to a point where I'm like, yeah, I need to protest because, like, at the time, I didn't really pay much attention to it. Not like, like ignorant about it. I just was like, I didn't really have a better understanding about it, I guess, if that makes
Like there
sense.
was a lot, like you didn't understand the full scope of it.
Yeah, like, and it had to do with the media too, because the media likes to make it seem like, oh, Black Lives Matter is nothing but a terrorist organization and stuff. And yeah, all that stuff, like
Yeah, I
stuff
went
like
through
that.
that too.
Yeah, but, you know, I'm just like, no, that's wrong. Like, they're not a terrorist organization. And all we're doing, I'm standing with the Black Lives Matter. I'm helping to protest for the system to change, for to make sure that friends of mine that are, POC, BIPOC, um, that their lives matter more, that they should matter and always matter, and you got some people that are like, all lives matter, but yeah, sure, all lives matter, but if Black Lives Matter too, then you could say that. But right now, Black lives to the police, to our president, to anybody with a hateful heart, don't think that Black Lives Matter. So, um, but they
Yep.
should matter. They should always matter. As you know, I live in Illinois, and I've seen in the city of Chicago, our city is super duper segregated.
Yeah,
Like,
redlined as fuck.
yeah, like you got, one section, like, say it's the 40s and 50s up to the 70s or 100s. It's like Latinos and Black communities, they really don't have the greatest neighborhoods because it's all low income. And it's like, that's the only place for them to really be able to live and survive. But to the white people in their eyes, it's like, oh my God, don't go to those ghetto places. You're going to get killed. Like, no, no, I wouldn't even put my money in that community to even fix it. Like, uh, I don't
Yeah,
want to
like they're
go.
gonna
Like,
get a disease or something.
yeah, like they are so ridiculous, and I'm like, it's it's such a aggravating thing to think about because it's like, yes, there's crime, but there's crime everywhere. And what I also never liked is I've heard people go and they want to visit Chicago, but they'll go, I'm
Hmm.
afraid that if I step in Chicago, that I'll get shot.
I mean, I'm scared of that.
Well, it's like, it really depends on what, neighborhood you end up in, though. Like, you don't want to end up in Inglewood in Chicago because, unfortunately, there have been many cases where people have gotten shot, whether it's accidental or because you're just somebody that's suburban, I guess, And I have driven through Inglewood myself, and
Yeah.
it was a totally different world for me. And I've always grown up in the suburbs, but it's not like I'm going to jump to conclusions and assume, oh, this neighborhood is notorious for being bad. Because, again, the media likes to make some places seem like it's the most dangerous place in the world, when there are other places in the world that are more dangerous than Inglewood.
Hey guys, we've hit the halfway point. You already know about the links in the show notes and to subscribe to us on whatever podcast player you're listening to. If you're listening on a browser, I highly suggest Pocket Casts. It's really cool. But what I'm actually going to tell you about is a submission call from weaselpress.com. It's called Can You See Us Now? It's a project looking for personal essays from furries of color. So you just send in a story. It's got 8,000 words max. Payments half a cent per word. Plus, you get a free copy of the finished book. The deadline's January 1st, 2021. If you've got any questions at all about anything, you just send an email to thedude@weaselpress.com. All right, that's all. On with the show. So, Red,
Yes.
why do you think BIPOC furries need a separate space in the fandom?
You know, that's a good question. My reason is because um there needs to be more representation on the BIPOC community, because, and I'm going to say this right now, when I also joined the fandom, I've come across many furries that were only white, Caucasian, and I thought at that time, oh no, what if I'm the only Latino American that exists in this fandom?
Okay.
Like,
Damn.
yeah, like I was like, well, what do I do? Like, I was kind of a little scared of that. Like, I don't want to
Mhm.
be just the only, Latino American in a community like this. I don't, you know. And when it came to going on Telegram in 2016,
Mhm.
I found more people that were POC. And open in mind, I give a little shout out to one of my friends. His name is Zeke the Tiger. Um, he was one of the first friends that I've met on Telegram. And when you meet him, he's such a great, down to earth person. And he's got such a great, massive heart. But
Aw.
anyway, I have a lot of love for him, and he also introduced me to stuff like dancing. I'm love to dance, and he also invited me to the For of Color chat. So
Oh, really?
yeah, he gave me the link and everything, and I joined it. I believe around the beginning of 2018, maybe the winter of 2017. I'm not sure, but yeah, that was when I experienced there was more POC. And we do need more representation because it's like we're not, we feel that we're not appreciated enough and not seen enough, because, and it goes back to the whole, some furries want to just not delve into the whole POC thing or whatever it may be and just want to be furry. That's it. And what I've seen happening though with the by POC is they've made their own con, and that's Harvest Moonfest.
Yeah.
And I was really stoked that they did that. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And that'll be a first
Same.
by POC run con. And now you got more and more Discord chats with by POC and for color, stuff. And it's great to see that because, we shouldn't just be seen as a fandom that is focused on one race. It should be all races welcome, It should always be more races than one. So
It's kind of like having a restaurant and most of the dishes are like fucking meat, but you're a vegetarian, and they say, "Oh, we got a bacon-free potato soup. You could eat that." And you're like, um, "You got anything else?" And they got they got water.
yeah, they just got water. Oh my god. Man, I got
So it's
funny
like
stories about that. But
technically you're being accommodated because you won't starve, but you wish there was something more.
yeah, you wish there was more options, but
Heaven forbid a vegan comes in. They got what? Like some peanuts?
oh
Some.
god. Yeah, like just peanuts or like just let's say you want a vegan burger
Mhm.
and their version of a quote unquote vegan burger is just lettuce, tomato, and two buns.
Yep.
And that actually happened to my friend Zeke. Yeah, we were at a we
Oh
were at
my
a
god.
we were at an In-N-Out Burger, and we were visiting one of his mates, and yeah, sure enough, he wanted a vegan burger, and all they told him was, "Oh yeah, it's just lettuce, tomato, and two buns. We don't have a vegan burger." So
I guess air is a sufficient patty now.
I guess so.
Oh my gosh, that's
Oh,
crazy.
yeah,
But
it was funny though. Even though it was a
yeah,
little irritating, it was funny.
sounds like it was a very lonely experience for you at first to feel like you're the only one.
Yeah, no, it was. I thought I was gonna be the only POC in the fandom. You
Wow,
know.
that's fucking crazy. That's like literally the opposite of what happened to me when I joined because everybody I met was like a fucking black gay furry. And I was like, what
Oh.
is wrong with me? What do I keep meeting black gay furries? Are there any white furries? Can I meet one white furry?
Yeah, like
83% of the damn fandom is white. And
oh
I
yeah,
couldn't meet anyone.
right. Like there has to be more and more people, right? Like of all
Uh,
races.
isn't that weird though?
Yeah.
Things
Yeah.
happen like that.
Yeah, we had both opposites happen, but yet it's like we still found, the fur color chat and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And then I hit the mainstream. I found out how fucking white this thing is. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's man, if you look at the history of the furry fandom, it really is just
Well, yeah, a bunch
white.
of fucking white nerds.
Yeah, like Star Trek con shit. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have this like fucking this gap, right? So what do you think we can do to mend the gap in the fandom to finally like bridge it and have everybody mingling and whatnot?
Yeah, just like what's happening right now with the bi POC making stuff and whatever. Like I feel if we all work together to create stuff that is open to everybody, obviously everybody, then
Hmm.
we won't have or feel like we're separated. Because again, before in the furry fandom, it only seemed that there was a lot more white folks in the fandom than there was POC. But that has changed over the years. But again, there was also not enough appreciation. So there has to be more teamwork and um, just come together to work and, educate, the people that don't know about, the history and the POC and whatnot too. Because again, there's nothing wrong with being in the furry fandom, but at the same time, you just can't have this mindset where, oh, my life is just going to be furry and that's it. I don't care about politics. I don't care about what's going on in the world. Yeah, no, we can't have that mindset. So yeah.
So you're saying that we need to take the bio by God damn it, bye bye BIPOC furries and thrust them to the front lines. We need to get them out there, get them noticed, give them the attention and inclusion, make them feel like they are part of this fandom and that they
Yeah.
are being heard. Because
Yeah.
right now they're not getting that.
Yeah, and I've seen a couple of my friends. Unfortunately, they felt like, oh, I think it's time that I leave the fandom because I feel I'm not appreciated enough and stuff like that. And it sucks, but it's like, for me, I don't want to see that happen to them. But like again, also there comes with reasons. Like I get what some people leave the fandom. They have reasons like, for example, they've seen too many people that are zoophiles, pedophiles, whatever. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, we do have people like that in the fandom too.
So is there anyone in the anyone in the fandom that you look up to in particular?
Hmm, man, I have a good handful of people actually. Um,
Oh, let's hear it.
well, um, first I'm gonna start off with my friend Zeke. He's one of the people I look up to. He's always been a great friend. I've known him for 5 years now, so
Mm.
he's really an inspiration. Another inspiration, Vatika, Pibble Bitch. They have some, pretty amazing art, and they're very supportive, and it's just great to see them be out there and active with supporting, other POC and being a part of Harvest Moonfest as well. I've also come to admire Snoopy. I don't know if you know him, but
The dude in the chat?
yeah.
Why him?
Um, with some of the stuff like that he says with just calling people out that are, racist and stuff. He's my inspiration to that. So,
Hmm.
he doesn't mess with people that are just, fake and obviously racist. So
So, like, you mentioned the protest before. Have you been to any? Or you just
yeah,
like
I'm gonna say I've been to three now.
three?
Hmm.
Ooh.
Um,
Did you get pepper sprayed? Did you get hosed down? Did you get the dog sent on you?
oh my god. Thank God that hasn't happened. But I'm also not gonna jinx myself because I've seen in all these protests that they're happening more often too. But what I also have to give credit for the protesters is that they're building their own safety equipment to like prevent themselves from getting shot by rubber bullets
Right? That
and
shit's
all that stuff.
crazy.
Yeah, it's like very creative shit. And I just might invest in doing that because the last thing I want to get is hit by a rubber bullet, chased by dogs, pepper sprayed.
Honestly, I think the worst thing that could happen is either getting hit with a rubber bullet like in the head and like
Oh
getting a
yeah,
concussion, or getting hit in the eye and losing a fucking eye.
yeah. That has happened to a couple people, and
Yes, it has, and it is fucking terrifying.
yeah, and it's sad. But again, it just the police system needs to change because that's not right at all. That's not right.
What stood out to you the most in the protests that you went to, and where were they?
Um, so a majority of them were in the city of Chicago, and
Mm-hmm.
what stood out to me mostly was the fact that there were so many people gathering around, um, kneeling down at some point, um, to give a moment of silence for the people who have passed, you know, during this whole police brutality stuff. And also wanting justice for Breonna Taylor, George Floyd,
Mm-hmm.
and just recently, was it Jacob Blake? Is
Yeah,
his name?
Jacob Blake.
Yeah, yeah. So thank God he's alive, but you know, now that he may become crippled because of what he had to go through
Yep.
is so horrible that it's still not right for what had happened to him. And it's like, yeah, no, enough is enough. We've dealt with this bullshit for too many years now, and we just need this change. We can't have people being run down by our own system that's supposed to help us when all they've done is kick us down and beat us with batons and all this crazy stuff. So
So when you went to these protests, they were peaceful?
yeah, they've been nothing but peaceful. I haven't seen anybody um, instigating a fight. I haven't seen people, breaking into stores and looting. Um, I would say the first protest maybe, um, like it was all peaceful, but when all of us left, it just got bad. But again, I'm gonna say this right now:
Yes.
the protesters aren't the one that started the riots. The police instigate a riot. They start it because I've seen videos on Twitter where you've got these officers purposely cutting up water bottles that people have, tearing down little tents where the nurses are to help people,
Mm-hmm.
um, and breaking the windows, like giving people bricks to throw at the stores and stuff. So they're the ones that are pushing for this to happen. And with
Yeah.
that, you
Yeah.
got white supremacists too. So
Yeah,
that's nothing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like my friend went to one of the protests in Portland, and he brought a bunch of water, and some cops just came by and fucking smashed it all on the ground.
Mm-mm. Yeah, that's really shitty of them. That really is really, really shitty of them. All those protesters could have used some hydration. Um,
Hot summer,
Yeah.
in fucking dry ass Portland, bro. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come
No.
on, bro.
Yeah. No. That's not right. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable. Yeah.
If there's anything to take away from the protests, what do you want people to come out of it thinking?
I want
Coming out of this
people.
whole period of
Right. Um, what I want people to come out of these protests is come out seeing that all this is for peace. We're not a terrorist organization. We're not trying to eliminate. There are people that say we want to abolish the police, like police completely go extinct. Like, that's not what we're going for. We want the system to change. We don't want the police gone. We want the system to change. We want their um, outlooks changed. We want, even with the money, that
mm,
money should go more to struggling schools, struggling communities, you know, anything better to benefit a community that's struggling rather than just one force. Because they've been getting a lot of money and they got too much money. So that's something that I want people to see, but also we don't tolerate people that, want to just go to a protest, instigate a fight, and take down a random store, whether it's a big business, a small business, and just loot whatever, because some of these people assume that we're all about violence when we're not. So that's what I want people to see and realize. Like, if they go out there themselves, they'll see it's peaceful. Excuse me.
it's peaceful until the cops show up and start fucking shit up.
Right.
For the main part,
Yeah.
for things like Jacob Blake and George Floyd, though,
Right.
obviously there's going to be more of anger, and
Yeah.
that is justified for people to
Yeah.
act that way because of how these things happen and they keep happening. It's like you have a champagne bottle and you showed up your ass. And what do you expect that's gonna happen?
Yeah. There's gonna be a chemical reaction. So
Like, yeah, that's one way to put it.
yeah. But yeah, it's like, yeah, with that whole thing too, it's like um it's like, unfortunately, if the police keep doing what they're doing to us as protesters, when all we're doing is doing it for peace, then unfortunately, um, we're going to fight back. It's going to happen if these police don't stop um, just targeting random peaceful protesters.
So I've only got one question left for you. Ready for it?
Yeah.
Did you really RP with like McNuggets that one time?
You know, oh my God. That whole thing in the morning. Wait, was it the morning or afternoon? I don't
I
remember.
think it was the morning because I had a Wendy's cup, right?
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
looking, I was like, I fucked this guy with a Wendy's cup in RP. And you topped me. You were like, McNugget. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
what?
Like, no, I was like, I I have fucked somebody with a McNugget. I think I
Yeah.
said that. And
How do you do that?
I mean, well, step one, you just take some ranch and
Why ranch? Why not
because
sweet and sour
because
sauce?
because ranch is tasty, but I mean barbecue sauce works too.
Oh my fucking
Uh,
god. I cannot believe this.
yeah, it's a process. I mean, You'll have to deal with a little bit of the crunchiness in your asshole, but...
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to stop. Okay.
Got a little
Thanks
crunch.
so much for chatting me with... I'm going to die. Thanks so much for chatting with me tonight. It was great to learn about the joys of discrimination. My favorite subject.
Yes.
I totally get where you're coming from when you say to F the Cheeto and everything like that. Listeners, don't forget to subscribe to us on whatever you're listening to. You'll never miss another episode again. You've got the last few seconds to promote something, Red.
All right. Obviously, shout outs to you. What you're doing is great.
Mm-hmm.
But also, if you want, go ahead and follow me at K Jimenez 1997 on Twitter and chat with me on Telegram at Redbone. The E is actually a 3, so yeah, that's it.
All right. See you next time, guys. Peace out.